10 prisoners are left to fend for themselves on a treacherous, deserted land filled with danger at every turn. With no allies and no guarantees, they embark on a perilous journey to find the legendary Islands of Happiness. Stay tuned to Amazon Recaps. 1,000 years ago, a group of people left Earth and organized the League of Free Worlds. One of the planets that humans took over was XT-59, which was covered in impenetrable swamps. This didn't stop humans from building a city where a total control system keeps its population isolated from the outside world, forces contact surveillance, and has very strict requirements. The system even chooses a person's spouse and job. Christy hated the job they gave her and her assigned husband even more, so she abandoned them only to immediately get arrested. Christy and 8 other prisoners are taken to a special prison facility, where they must stand against the wall for a few minutes so they can be scanned. All personal data is collected by the system and sent to the central computers for the president to see. Then he tells his advisors who should be arrested and for what. While they finish scanning everyone, the guards bring in a 10th prisoner with a bag over his head. The captain explains he would love to shoot them all, but the law doesn't allow him to, so instead the prisoners will be released on the swamplands. If they survive long enough to cross 300 kilometers due east, they may find the Islands of Happiness, which grants them redemption. However, Christy has never heard of anyone who actually reached the islands because the swamplands are full of danger. Next, the prisoners are taken outside and the guy with the bag is told to keep going. However, he's suspicious and kicks a rock, revealing that the electrified fence is still up. The man thinks they were trying to kill him and make it look like an accident. Then the captain announces a sentence of exile and finally removes the bag so Irvin can see again. Before leaving, the guards drop a box with supplies and the captain tells them to be gone in an hour. If anyone stays near the facility, they'll be shot down. The captain reactivates the fence before leaving with the guards. Maria immediately freaks out and tries running into the fence, but Christy stops her. Irvin says they should introduce themselves and they learn that Just already served time and knows the swamps very well. The conversation is interrupted when a terrifying creature bursts out of the ground, shaking its branch-like body for a second before hiding again. Irvin explains it's called Sawword and it can sense vibrations that guide its attacks. Afterward, Irvin opens the box and the prisoners start pushing each other to get to the supplies first. Irwin only grabs a knife and tells Christy to drop what she got because she won't need it. Suddenly Just closes the box and says that nobody here could survive the swamps, so they should follow him. However, Irvin and Christy refuse to go with the group because they want to find the islands, which Just doesn't believe in. Before leaving, Irvin asks for his and Christy's share of the supplies, but Just refuses. Then Irvin grabs and threatens to kill Kime, which would result in everyone getting shot by the guards because attacking each other is against the rules. Just has no choice but to give them their food and tools, only for Just to surprise him by asking for the box itself. He even agrees to pay with all his food. Just accepts and his group puts their own supplies in the provided bags to leave. Christy wants Maria to come with them but Irvin refuses, explaining that woman is too unstable and will only slow them down. He doubts Maria will survive and wants it to be Just's problem. Irvin shares the details on how a team of 2 is perfect for survival and Christy realizes he's been thinking about this for a while, so she calls him a calculator. Irvin makes Christy walk ahead of him because she's lighter, meaning she can find any deep swamps without getting stuck. He'll be dragging the box along with a rope tied to his body. After a few hours of walking, the duo is approached by Layla, who wants to come with them and even promises to share her supplies. Irvin is considering their options when suddenly someone opens fire on them. Irvin and Christy run to hide behind some rocks and soon the fire stops. Layla wasn't hit, which means the shooter was going for Irvin. He tells Layla to leave since she's clearly the reason behind the attack, and a furious Layla runs back to her group. Afterward, Christy and Irvin continue their journey by crawling on the ground, keeping the box behind them as a shield. Christy notices weird little creatures on top of the box, but Irvin assures her they're peaceful. Once they've crossed the magnetic ridge, Irvin stands up because guns don't work there. He hides behind some rocks to spy on the other group and confirms they've been following his trail. Irvin also notices they're missing a prisoner right before a light indicates the facility's cannon was fired, meaning a man stayed behind and got killed. Christy wonders if the islands are real and Irvin says that the captain almost killing him with the fence is proof they are. If the prisoners truly had no chance of survival, they wouldn't have wasted time trying to kill him. Irvin keeps claiming he knows the swamps well but he's never been there, which Christy finds contradictory. Meanwhile, in the facility, the captain talks to the president, who is angry because they failed to kill Irvin. It's then revealed that the shooter had been Matias, the prisoner who stayed behind. He was actually a guard working undercover and the cannon never killed him, it was all for show. Sometime later, Christy and Irvin stop to rest and get some water. At that moment, an electrified tentacle comes out of the ground and almost attacks Christy, but Irvin jumps on it with his cloak to stop it. The tentacle begins fighting back, wrapping itself around Irvin's body and slashing his chest. Following Irvin's instructions, Christy grabs the knife and cuts at the bottom, causing the underground creature to retrieve. Irvin decides to keep the severed tentacle to use it as a weapon. Afterward, Christy cleans Irvin's wound while admitting her crime was murder. She tried to get a divorce permit and the government worker tried to molest her, so she acted in self-defense. They're interrupted by the arrival of the other group, and when Yus tries to steal the box, Irvin uses the tentacle as a whip to keep him at bay. Yus' group steps back and the duo continues with their journey. Some hours later, Irvin notices that Yus and his people are still following them. Christy wonders where the group is going if Yus doesn't believe in the islands, and Irvin theorizes they're heading to the Rotten Shoal, a former prison where social outcasts live. Suddenly Irvin notices a stalwart emerging from the ground and tells Christy to lie down without moving or making a sound. The other group keeps on moving, causing the stalwart to sense their vibrations and start to send its branches up. Yus finally tells everyone to freeze, but it's too late. The huge stalwart bursts out and swings its body to attack. Most of the prisoners dodge it, but Maria and Chob get caught by the branches. Luckily Chob has a knife and immediately cuts the branch to free themselves, only for the creature to regenerate and create a monstrous structure in front of them. Yust reminds everyone to stay still, however Kime is terrified and runs away. A branch grabs him by the ankle and keeps him in place so the main body can descend on him, capturing Kime and taking him with it as it returns to its underground lair. While the other branches disappear as well, Christy calls Irvin out for not warning the others about the creature. Irvin reminds her they need to survive and forces her to keep going. At the facility, the president tells the officers he wants them to catch Irvin and bring him over, referring to him as the advisor. If they fail, the president will make the officers prisoners as well. Sometime later while Duo is resting, Christy hears a strange sound and turns around to find a terrifying view. There is a huge swarm of small creatures approaching them very fast. She immediately tries to run away, but Irvin stops her and drags her back. When a creature almost attacks them, Irvin destroys it with the whip, then he brings Christy into the box with him. The creatures soon reach their spot and stomp all over the box, making it shake like crazy. However, it's strong enough not to break and it keeps them both safe until the monsters are gone. Once they're sure it's over, the duo comes out and keeps traveling without the box. Soon they reach the actually swamps, so they use their poles to check the ground before taking another step, that way they can avoid sinking. Meanwhile Yust's group also reaches the area and Maria is having trouble to advance at a proper pace. Yust announces they're taking a break and Layla protests as she points out they'll lose Irvin's trail, but Yust doesn't care. Furious, Layla cuts off her end of the rope and tries to leave. Soon Yust is chasing after her. However, he isn't paying attention and ends up falling into a swamp hole. Layla laughs at him as he begs for help and Chob considers rescuing him, but Layla stops him. She explains Irvin used to be an advisor for the president and he has all the required information about this area, so they should be following him and not Yust. Most of the group agrees and leaves with her, but Yan stays back and helps Yust to get out of the hole. Later in the evening, Irvin catches a bunch of bugs and eats them raw, telling Christy to do the same if she wants to survive. Christy does it even though she finds the taste disgusting and Irvin clarifies boiling them would make them taste even worse. While they rest, Irvin finally shares why he was imprisoned. Layla was right, he used to be an advisor for the president, and he got caught when he tried to leak some information that would prove the corruption in the system. In the end Irvin surrendered himself, hoping to be exiled on purpose. He knew the system couldn't work without him, so disappearing would be the most effective way to destroy it. In the facility, the captain discovers the system is going through some errors that cause the communication satellites to fail. However, nobody can restart it because Irvin is the only one who knows the code. Sometime later, Layla's group sees two people nearby and approaches them thinking it's Irvin and Christy. However, it turns out they're two prisoners who have been stuck there forever and survived by becoming cannibals. They immediately attack the group and capture Maria while the others run away. Christy can hear her screaming in the distance and wants to go back for her, but Irvin stops her because it's dangerous. Maria's screaming stops when the cannibals kill her with a rock. Afterward, Christy takes a moment to grieve and wonders who could come up with this horrifying punishment, so Irvin admits it was him. Christy considers him a monster, but Irvin points out nobody protested against the law when it was announced, so the general population is as horrible as he is. A furious Christy keeps on insulting him, saying Irvin's consciousness woke up too late. Being confronted with his own guilt, Irvin runs away and starts screaming to get a creature's attention, hoping to self-delete. Nothing shows up and Irvin thinks not even monsters want him, so he agrees to keep on guiding Christy. Still angry, she admits the captain had offered her freedom if she killed Irvin, but she refused. Meanwhile, Yust and Yan find Layla's group and get ready for revenge. When Yust grabs Layla by the neck, she finally spills the beans. The captain had offered her freedom if she killed Irvin. To confirm her story, Valentine uses a scanner on her body and finds a tracker on Layla's ankle. Yust announces they must cut it off, so Layla tries to run away, only to suddenly fall. When she looks back, she discovers a cobweb-like creature grabbing her leg. Soon more strands come out of the ground and starts covering Layla until she can't move or breathe anymore. Yust takes control of the group again and they leave while the tracker sends a message to the captain. He's happy to learn Layla is dead and reveals he has an old-style gun that will work in the swamps area, so he sends Matias out with it. Back to the Yust group, they watch Valentine find a bag on the ground and open it. A black substance comes out and enters his body, instantly killing him and devouring the flesh on his face. Moments later, Yan approaches Christy and Irvin, saying he's abandoned his group. Irvin doesn't believe him and he's proven right when an object hits him on the head, knocking him out. When Irvin wakes up, he discovers he and Christy have been captured by the remaining 3 prisoners. Just explains they're near the entrances to the Rotten Shoal, but they need a plan to approach it or they may be ambushed. Irvin wants Christy to leave without him, but she refuses and kisses him. Afterward, Just picks Irvin up and carries him in his shoulders while looking for an officer, hoping to make a deal. In the Rotten Shoal, Matthias and 2 officers arrive. They knock out a few prisoners hiding there and interrogate another one, who swears nobody new has shown up recently. Suddenly a crossbow is shot in the darkness, killing one of the officers. Matthias and the other guard immediately fire back, killing a bunch of prisoners and destroying half of the room. Outside, Job is wandering alone and soon a sawwort branches start surrounding him. When the officer comes out to investigate the noise, the sawwort attacks and captures him instead. In the struggle, his gun is accidentally fired and the random bullets hurt Job's shoulder. The weapon falls as the creature disappears with the body. Meanwhile, Just and Irvin get into the Rotten Shoal using a secret tunnel. Just hides Irvin and goes to another room to meet Matthias, asking for a deal. Matthias agrees and gives him his gun as guarantee of his word. When Just takes him to see Irvin, he's already gone. Matthias uses his scanner to find Irvin's location but keeps it to himself. Just walks ahead to start the search and Matthias gets ready to shoot him, which Just hears and causes him to shoot first. However, the gun has no bullets and Matthias quickly brings him down with 2 shots. Next, Matthias checks behind a curtain thinking that's where Irvin is hiding, but the people his scanner detected are Yan and Christy. After killing Yan, Matthias captures Christy and threatens to kill her too if Irvin doesn't come out. At that moment, Job sneaks into the building too, bringing the other guard's gun. He meets with Irvin and they make a plan. They come out of hiding and Irvin agrees to surrender in exchange for Christy. Matthias lets go of her, but before Job can shoot Irvin as planned, Just reappears and stabs Matthias in the head from behind. As he dies, he accidentally shoots his gun and hits Christy, but luckily it's just a sedative and not a real bullet. Afterward, Irvin thanks Just, who is in great pain. He asks for Matthias' poison capsule and Irvin hands it to him so he can have a peaceful death. Sometime later, Christy, Irvin, and Job make it to the shore and find small islands on the sea with nothing on them. Job thinks it's over, but Irvin notices the islands are moving, meaning they aren't real islands. They're just pieces of the swamp carpet, and they're capable of supporting their weight. The trio chooses an island to board and uses their poles to push it away from the shore, hoping it'll take them to their freedom. At the facility, the president is scolding the captain for his failure when the systems start shutting down. The captain sends another officer after Irvin, hoping they still may have a chance to catch him. Back to the prisoners, Job discovers his wound won't stop bleeding and at this rate he'll die soon. Not wanting to wait, he jumps into the sea and says goodbye to the others before a creature drags him underwater to be eaten. A few hours pass and the duo is found by the officer in an aircraft, but it's too late. The system fails again without the code and the aircraft crashes into the ocean, quickly sinking. The duo realizes Irvin's plan worked and the government system is going down, so they celebrate. Their happiness is interrupted when they notice a waterfall ahead of them. Using Irvin's science knowledge, he and Christy make a cocoon using the island and hold their breath as the water throws them down. Sometime later, the waves drop the duo on a different shore, which appears to be empty. Irvin knows there's a hidden military facility hidden around here, but he doesn't know the last digit of the password because the president chose it. Since they'll only have 2 tries, Irvin calculates the possibilities on the sand, but Christy says he should be thinking about the last thing the president said before entering the code. Following this advice, Irvin approaches the control panel and first enters a wrong code on purpose to confirm the system is working well. Then he enters a code using the last number the president said to him, which successfully makes an entrance appear on the mountain. The duo goes inside and finds an aircraft ready to leave the planet. However, Irvin says it only has 1 seat, so Christy should leave without him. Christy tells him she'd rather stay with him because she loves him and kisses him. Minutes later, the couple is leaving in the aircraft together because they're sharing the seat. Eventually they reach another planet and the League of Free Worlds learns about the atrocities in XT-59 system. Thanks to them, peacekeeping forces are sent to free the citizens of that planet, and in 10 years a new system takes over, but this one ends up being worse. For more videos like this, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notifications icon. Like and share this video with loved ones. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.